We've got an amazing week 2 Thursday night football matchup as Jayden Daniels and the Commanders fly to Wisconsin to take on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. My name's Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down the game for you and provide our predictions at the very end of the video. So be sure to stay tuned for the entirety of the recording. But before we get into that, be sure to leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win and why. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, two dominant performances by both of our teams that we're talking about here today. Commanders really just kind of dominated. If the score wise wasn't really, I mean, 21-6 against the New York Giants, yes, but at the same time,
Yeah.
held them to 231 total as well. Dominant rushing performances. I think they had multiple guys with like over 50 rushing yards on top of that, and a modest day, I would say, from Jayden Daniels. Actually, I'd say a good day from Jayden Daniels passing wise. 19 for 30, 233 yards, and a touchdown as well. Really, I
Yeah.
think just kind of they got the lead early, and you said this before we started recording, just kind of steamrolled. Sorry, and then just kind of just gently kept their foot on their throats throughout the
Yeah,
of
they
the
were just the better team, and there wasn't a whole lot more to say. Like, they just showed up, they were the better team, they took care of business, and then they went home with the W, which is
Yep.
always nice, especially in week 1 in a division game. I think that is exactly what you want out of your football team. And on the flip side of that, the Packers did the same thing. Now, the difference here is the Packers played the Lions, who were the number 1 seed in the playoffs last year. We talked a lot about their coaching turnover and looked out of sorts at times. However, the Packers really dominated that game. I would much more use the word dominate in that fashion to kind of describe how the Packers handled the Lions here in week 1. And I
Yeah.
think it was a really impressive performance. I think Micah Parsons' role in this defense is really only going to grow. That defensive line at times was really dominant over a talented offensive line that only lost one starter from a year ago. So there should be a lot of continuity there. And I think going into this matchup, I think that's probably one of the biggest things I think the Commanders need to do is they need to find a way to slow down Micah Parsons in this pass rush and win up front. Because if they can't do that, it's going to be a really long day for Jayden Daniels. He's going to be running for his life a lot. And I think that could really slow down this Commanders offense if they let this defense just pin their ears back and get after him. They are going to need to establish the run, kind of how they did today against the Giants again as well, to continue to win that battle.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be really important. And then on the flip side, can the Commanders corners hang with this Packers wide receiver group? They were dominant today against the Lions. I forget what the stats were specifically. I don't have them in front of me, but I just felt like Jordan Love was always finding the open receiver. Romeo Dobbs had big catches. Jayden Reed had big catches. And like, it was just another really good performance from this Packers offense.
Well, and so that's where I think I to add on to that and maybe rephrase it a little bit. I wouldn't even say this receiving room is dominant. Not saying that the Packers room is bad, but this is where I think it goes into the whole offensive system that they have set up from there. Like what I love seeing from here, Jordan Love, he went 16 for 22 today with 188 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the leading receiver catch wise was Jayden Reed with just 3 catches, but he had multiple guys with 2 catches. And then had 5 guys with at least 1 catch. So a lot of distribution of the football
Yeah.
as well. And then solid day running the ball through Josh Jacobs. And uh,
Mhm.
that is one thing. It'd be, yeah, the people are going to say the Lions regressed from last year. Yes, I think we all agree with that. But they're still the NFC North champs. They were still the number 1 seed last year going into the playoffs. Like there was still a lot of talent on this team. And it's week 1, yes, but it this was the kind of form I is expecting from this Packers offense overall with just the facilitation of the football and now too as well. I think there's a little extra juice on that defensive side of the ball because Micah Parsons he was on a snap count so to say, but he did get his sack, he did get his tackle for loss, and I think too as well. There's a lot of other guys with big shout outs as well today. You know, Rashawn Gary, he had a sack and a half as well, getting after Jared Goff. So Edgerrin Cooper led the team with 12 total tackles. So there's a lot of guys I think here that were already made this Packers defense pretty good.
Yeah.
And now you had Micah Parsons on the list. I think that's going to be the matchup overall is as Packers defense gets more comfortable with having Micah Parsons in there, defensive coordinator Jeff Hoffley gets more comfortable. having Micah Parsons in on every single play. That kind of chess match of how is Jayden Daniels going to avoid Micah Parsons, uh, coming down your throat, chasing you really hard. I was trying to think of a different phrase because it's not what I meant. This is a family friendly show,
Yeah.
but chasing you, as well as the rest of the Green Bay Packers defense as well. Um, but also then too the chess match as well too. I mean, Commanders going to have Terry McLaurin. They're going to have Debo Samuel. They're going to have a lot of other guys too. Their rookie running back. I'm going to butcher the name. I apologize. Corey Krosky Merritt. Actually, I think I did pretty good there.
Yeah. No,
But
that's exactly it.
hey, there we go. That might be a first on the Tracy take. It's going to be a really fun chess match, and I would not be surprised if this is a preview NFC divisional playoff matchup here, maybe even NFC championship matchup. The way both of these
Yeah.
two teams played. I think another thing too we haven't really talked too much about was just this Washington defense. Also, we talked a lot about the Packers defense, how they were shutting them down, but the Washington defense did a really good job today as well. Especially they had some key pieces move on from last year, such as Dante Fowler Jr., but they were still able to bring in guys and have still a successful Dan Quinn defense. And so this is going to be a great Thursday night football matchup here in Lambeau. I think Green Bay is super excited, especially after this performance as well too. I think. I mean, we're recording this before Monday Night Football, so we haven't seen the Vikings and Bears play. However, if we're talking about just overall consistency among the organization from last year to this year, I think Green Bay and their overall philosophy, I think is set up best than everybody else in the NFC North. And so, and
Yeah.
I think a lot can be said the same thing about Washington and Jayden Daniels as well. They improved also. They got their Debo Samuel for that offensive side of the ball, while the Packers got Micah Parsons for the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully, maybe it's that missing piece to take them that final step further that they need to make. So, Ryan, I'm going to throw it over to you first here. Who do you have winning this game and why?
I am going to go with Green Bay. I just think, especially on Thursday night games, I think just the overall talent on paper usually wins out because you have a short week. Guys are just trying to recover. It's hard to game plan. And I feel like coming into Lambeau, having to travel, uh, it's going to be a close game, but I think Green Bay just has the talent on paper to pull this game out. I trust them a little bit more in the trenches than I do the Commanders, and I think ultimately that's what's going to control this game.
So I think one thing too with the trenches as well, just to stick on. So Zach Tom, Aaron Banks were a couple of the Green Bay Packers offensive linemen that ended up leaving the game. So I have to monitor their status overall
Yeah,
throughout the week. That being said, though, I do think just in a whole, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to go with Green Bay to win this game here. I think on the shortened week, it's going to be interesting on how both of these teams prepare for the other, because Green Bay has that very electric offense that anybody can get the ball at once. At the same time, too, Washington has maybe the most electric player in the league right now in Jayden Daniels, and so how are you going to prepare for him on a shortened week? So. Um, I do still think it's going to be Green Bay winning this game in Lambeau. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, though, too, I think it was week 2 of last year when everybody got introduced to Jayden Daniels going on the road to Cincinnati. So
yeah.
it's possible. Like we're all very well aware of Jayden Daniels and his capabilities. So, but I'm going to go with the
Oh, for
home
sure.
team here. But this is going to be a phenomenal game.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a good one. This might be one that we look at. A lot of times, Thursday night football games are not the greatest, but maybe later on in the season, we'll be looking back, wishing that this one would be on Thursday night again. So, let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Will it be the Washington Commanders? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.